The time is 7:35 West African time. This is Daybreak. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the nationwide strike by the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, continues after a meeting called by the Labour Minister Mohamed Dingyadi to resolve the issue ended in deadlock. At the end of negotiations that lasted almost 5 hours, the labour unions and representatives of Dangote Refinery failed to reach an agreement over the issue of unionization in Dangote Refinery. NUPENG President Williams Akporeha accused Dangote of attempting to enslave Nigerians and his workers through anti-labour practices. Leaders of organised labour, including the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, said the representative of Dangote Refinery stormed out of the meeting, leaving them with no choice but to continue with the strike.
The representative of the Dangote Refinery walked out on the Honourable Minister and organized labour. Even when we bent backward to accommodate his uncompromising behaviour, he still did what he had to do. So we are left with no option than to do the needful. The action continues. Whenever the representative of the Dangote Refinery, when he sees the need for a meaningful dialogue, why not? We are ready.
We cannot stand and see an investor whose main purpose is to come and enslave Nigerians. You cannot take us back to the dark days of slavery. Nigerians has wished him so well than to enslave them. So it's unfortunate that at this point in time, we're having an investor whose main purpose is to say there can't be union in his establishment. He wants to monopolize the entire system and even monopolize workers alongside with them. This we said no. And it can't happen during our time.
Well, for follow-up on the deadlocked meeting between NUPENG and its allies and the federal government, and also the Dangote Refinery, which saw the representative of the Dangote Refinery stage a walkout from the meeting, we have the president of NUPENG, that's the Nigeria Association of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Mr. Williams Akporeha, live in a RISE studio. You're welcome on Daybreak.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, so right now we have seen a situation, it's a mixed reaction, and it appears to me like a real catch-22 situation whereby the same laws that you are holding to is also the same laws that apply to the Dangote Refinery workers that have set up a direct truck drivers association. And we saw them yesterday live saying that they are happy and they are enjoying a lot of welfare package like the HMO and also a pension package. So what's the situation now? Because a lot of Nigerians are very anxious about the nightmare of another potential strike.
Well, let me first correct you very well. NUPENG is Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers. It's not an association.
Okay.
Yeah, Nigeria it's a union of Petroleum and Natural Gas
Workers. Apologies on that, NUPENG.
So, firstly, let me say that one major rule of trade unions across the world is to ensure fairness, equity, and job security for workers in their various workplaces. What Dangote has shown over time is that it's not prepared to have workers that will have say in his employment. And to us, we say that is slavery. The DCTDA that you talked about were asked to leave the meeting yesterday because they are not known to law. The minister asked them to leave the meeting. They even came to the meeting uninvited. And they were told that they are not a lawful organization to organize workers in the oil and gas. And they were asked to leave the meeting. So the appropriate organization that should organize workers in the oil and gas sector are NUPENG, Pegasan, and there's some other unions like, okay, since it's a petrochemical, you can have NUFLAMPE, you can also have CAMSA. Those are the unions that are supposed to be in that sector.
But when we look at Section 1 of the Trade Union Congress, it empowers workers to freely join any union of their choice. And Section 40 also of still the same Trade Union Act protects workers from being compelled to join any union. But what we are saying now is like a narrative of you compelling the direct truck drivers to join the petroleum tankers.
No, the labor laws are clear. On the unions, the workers are supposed to join, in this case, in the oil and gas sector. You can't go and join, for instance, radio and TV union, because, you want to exercise the right of Section 40 of the Constitution. It's stated clearly, it's in the labor law.
Let me come in at this point. I've got two questions that I'd like to table to you this morning. Okay. The first is that this is clearly a legal issue. Why are you not taking them to court? Why are you not taking them to the National Industrial Court of Nigeria? Why is the option strike? That's number one. Then number two, I'd like you to clarify, because you said that the Dangote Refinery representative was not invited and he was asked to leave. However, reportage is saying that he staged a walkout. I want to know the conversation that happened at that moment that he left the meeting. Was he provoked? Was he? Please just give us insight as flies on the wall in that room. The moment that Mr. Sayu Dantata left that room, was he compelled to do so?
Yeah, he felt that he cannot comply with the rules, or rather the laws of the land, because he wanted his own bidding, to be carried out, by the ministry. The ministry actually are supposed to be, they give like, oversight functions to both employers and employees on issues related to employers and employees. So if at that point the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sat down, I was also explaining the laws, the regulations. And you as an investor, you said, no, you are above that. That you have the way, you want to run your business. And for Christ's sake, this is a sector where we have global players. We have Chevron, we have Total, we have Mobil. Today we have a local player which we all yearn for. We prayed for it, that we should have a local investor in the refinery.
Mr. Akporeha, you're saying that Mr. Sayu Dantata said that his company is above the labor laws. If I heard you correctly, is that what you said?
Of course, that's what he said. That's what he said. He said
that Dangote Refinery is above the labor laws.
Definitely, that's what his behavior connoted. That's exactly what his behavior showed. Okay, so he didn't say it,
but that's what you assume from his behavior.
It's not, but if it was before the federal government, and he has to work out on the federal government, who was telling him on the appropriate way to go about, this issue. And he walked out.
Again, you've not answered the question Wimbai asked earlier, that why are you not going to the industrial courts?
First, labor issues are industrial relation matters. And there are processes that are supposed to be followed. We're in the process of engagement. We are still engaging. It's only when probably all that fails that we start thinking of other options.
A threatened strike and engagement?
No. Like what happened yesterday was an engagement.
Holding the country at ransom?
No. What happened yesterday was an engagement. Of course, we have the right. We have the right to also go on strike. It's part of industrial relation approaches, on workers' issues. But even above all that, we still have right probably to seek some legal options. But we have not got it to that point yet.
Now, as the president of NUPENG, what happens if Dangote refuses to stand down and change any of his policies? What is your plan? What will you do in that instance?
But honestly, that would be a very dangerous trend.
Why? How?
For a local investor to prove that it's above the law. And what signal are we sending to the international communities? What signal are we sending to the Chevron, the Total, the Mobil of this world? That even in our country where they operate, we can also even follow our own laws. It's very dangerous. And that's why we ask every Nigerian to stand up at this point. That Dangote should not be allowed, to turn us into, a slave land.
Okay, but there are some other people that have also said that this is purely a failure of the domestic marketers to make a gain from their own system, and rather pushing the blame on Dangote Refinery. So is it a failure of the domestic marketing system?
I don't think so. Dangote enjoys a lot of things from the Nigeria state, the way it is. If you know the arrangement of crude for Naira arrangement, all that are a lot of waivers for him, to make him succeed. And actually, we also want to make him succeed. If today, as we are told, we consume 60 million liters of PMS daily, and if his refinery produce up to capacity, we will be producing 57 million. That's just a single person. If today he's the marketer of his product, because he decides who he sells to, and today, if he's the one that also distributes, because he's going to import 10,000 trucks that will be distributing this product across the country, that means he's the single distributor and and transporter. Then today, you want to decide even the fate of the workers that he's going to employ, that nobody should have a say, that even the worker is going to employ should not have a say. His responsibility is to manage his work, while the union's responsibility is to manage workers. That it is globally.
The direct truck company, the alternative union that the members have joined, do they not have a right enshrined in our laws to be able to join that union? The
Labour Ministry told them yesterday that is not an alternative union. There are unions in the industry that they are supposed to belong to. Dangote is now above the law. He cannot overnight create a union for his own workers. It's not the worker that created the union. He created the worker. He created that association, for the workers, which is still employing. It's not like he has even finished employing them. He created the union before he even started to even employ the workers. Okay. And Minister of Labour told that was wrong and was illegal.
Okay.
And he got provoked and walked away.
The allegations being leveled against the unions are that you're holding the nation ransom because you want to sabotage the Dangote refinery, because the introduction of the refinery's products into the system is cutting away at some of the huge profits that your sector has been making from substandard imported petroleum. This is some of the conversation that has been happening in the public space. What is your response to those people who say that you're simply trying to sabotage and you're now holding the whole country ransom? Because if we look at the compliance of the strike request yesterday, it was relatively limited. So it seems as though that, the strike action is not hugely subscribed to by your union members in a vast number.
Let me say something here. There's nothing like trying to sabotage Dangote. Like I said earlier, everybody wished him well. Everybody wanted Dangote to succeed. We wanted Dangote Refinery. If there's anything, this union has always canvassed for local players, in the sector. And when Dangote came, everybody, was happy and it was heralded. So we have continued to give him all the necessary support that he needs. But the only area we disagree with him is that he cannot have workers that will not have say in his employment. That is not the trend, globally. And even in this country today, our beloved president worked in our beloved president, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, worked in the sector before, and he knows what happens in the sector. If it was companies like Dangote that workers will not have a say, I'm sure. Okay, let me just say the president knows what happens in that place. Let me not go beyond that. But again, our interest is not to sabotage local players, including Dangote. We want it to succeed. But it should play by the rules.
So why are you not going to court so that this can become a legal precedent?
I said labor issues are industrial relation issues. You know, at any point, we will take the next step.
But the National Industrial Code
But we have a right, we also have a right, the right to strike, the right to go on industrial action, rather, is also our right. You know, and it's also one of the approaches, you know, of agitation.
Okay, Mr. Williams Akporeha, where is the Nigerian interest in all you're doing, and how can we find a middle ground to rescue this potential catastrophe that is looming because of the strike option that you are protecting?
The Nigerian interest here is that we must have employers that are democratic. Democratic in the sense that they have workers that will have say in their employment. We cannot have investors that are dictators. We cannot have employers that are slave drivers. If that happens, then even the next generation of workers, you know, will not be productive.
Yes. So you've spoken about calling Dangote a sort of slave driver. However, you know, the drivers have come out to say that they're better paid working for Dangote than they are for other companies. What do you say to people who accuse NUPENG of threatening a strike because they want to get dues from these drivers' salaries? Unions role go beyond just collection of dues. It goes just beyond that. We protect the rights of workers. Employers cannot protect the rights of his own employees. We all know that. Dangote cannot say, you know, yes, he pays the workers, but he cannot protect the right of those workers. Workers have rights, and that's why you have unions, you know, all over the world. And Nigeria should not be an exception. Dangote too should not also operate in an exception.
Now, finally, what message would you like to send to the general public and your members about the ongoing conflict and possible resolutions for the future? Yeah. What message would you like to send out?
Okay, yeah. The struggle, the Dangote struggle today, you know, is to emancipate Nigerian workers. And so it's a struggle for every Nigerian, not just for only NUPENG, you know, as an organization or even the labor movement. It's for every Nigerian to ensure that nobody should employ Nigerians and enslave them. And so it should be a battle for every Nigerian to ensure that they stand up and tell just one man that you can't have it all. Stay on your lane and let others also be on their lane.
So on a quick one now, what's the resolution of NUPENG now coming from yesterday's meeting, despite the strong plea from the federal government? Is NUPENG going ahead with this strike?
Well, as it is, we are still open to dialogue, we are still open to engagement, but discussions are also going on.
So no strike yet?
Sir?
No strike yet, or is the strike already on?
No, the strike is still on. We started the strike yesterday. Though there have been appeal that we should slow down on the strike. But honestly, we thought that, you know, because actually under my leadership, you know, strike has not been my thing. You know, I rather engage more, you know, and see how we can resolve issues. But we thought that yesterday's meeting would just be a one-day affair and we call off and everybody, you know, go back. But what Dangote showed yesterday, you know, should tell Nigerians that we are in for, you know, a dictator investor, and we must stand up against that. So the strike continues anyway, but however, we are hopeful that a good reason will prevail and the issue will be resolved as quickly as possible.
All right, Mr. Williams Akporeha, National President of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers. As you have said, the strike continues. However, there is, of course, concern about the rights of all of these truck drivers and other workers to have freedom of association and assembly, as is enshrined to them in the Constitution of Nigeria. That's all we have time for here on Daybreak. It looks like you might have to fill up your tank because this standoff from NUPENG doesn't seem like it's going to abate anytime soon. I'm Vumbai Mutiniri Ekweyong.
And I'm Gbenga Ashiru. It's goodbye from me.
Well, I'm Adesua Giwa Osabe. Thank you as always for joining us.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.